everyone. So welcome to my review for Little Misfortune. Just so you know, there will be some spoilers. Let's get started. Let's start with a little overview of the game. So you play as this little girl. Her name's Misfortune Ramirez Hernandez. And you kind of find out she lives like a very sad, lonely life, which sucks. And she has like these abusive parents basically who kind of ignore her. Her dad threw a rock at her, you find out, and you're like, what? But to start the game, this narrator, well, his name is like Mr. Voice to her, he first starts right with saying, oh, Misfortune's going to die, and you're like, oh no, do you have to save her? Do we have to fight Mr. Voice? What do we have to do? From the get-go, Mr. Voice seems so sus, like a horrible person. I don't know. I just had a bad inkling towards him. So he asked Misfortune if she wants to play a game, and she's like, yeah, let's play this game to find eternal happiness, right? And so he basically says you have to make decisions and things like that. And in his narrator, Mr. Voice, he's like, there's no right or wrong decisions. There's just consequences. And I'm like, oh no, I have to make choices that may lead to her dying. Oh. Here I'm thinking you have to save her this whole time, but turns out that this whole time in the whole game, you find out that she's actually dead. Like the whole game you've been playing, she was dead the whole time. And you're like, oh, you think you're gonna save her, but you don't. But there is later on, there's this fox. Misfortune calls him Benjamin. And Benjamin turns out to be this guardian fox, so to speak, trying to protect all the children in the whole town because they've been going missing and stuff. From the Mr. Voice, because Mr. Voice turns out to be the bad being called Morgo, and he's stealing the children's souls basically. And you're like, what the heck? I knew it. From the get-go, I knew it that he was the bad guy, but whatever. And to be honest, it was an interesting game, right? Because at the end of it, when you find out that you were dead the whole time, Mr. Fox kind of saves you and you go to death, right? But through the whole game, there's the choices you have to make, and Misfortune likes to carry glitter, and she feels like glitter makes you happy and glitter makes everything okay, so to speak. And throughout the whole game, there's opportunities to throw glitter at stuff. And I didn't know this, but later on that, affects the ending, because there's two endings. The one ending that I got was that she just goes to death, and death was waiting for her and she goes, right? The alternate ending, if you collect basically all the glitter spots, so to speak, you get to give your happiness to your mom, and end with her smiling and everything. You still have to die, right? Because you're dead and you have to go to with death. But the alternate ending at least gives that happiness to your mom. And I think that was so cute. And I'm like, I think I want to play through it again and try to find all the glitter spots so I can get that happiness and give it to the mom. But we'll see, because that was a sad game and it really took a little bit out of me. But that's just a brief overview of the game. And let's get to my opinion and my thoughts of what the game was for me, okay? So my initial thoughts, right? My initial thoughts are that this game is messed up in the sense of has a lot of heavy topics. It talks about the abuse she's going through. It talks about sadness, and it covers suicide and a whole bunch of other dark topics, right? But there's comedic moments and things that an 8-year-old shouldn't do sometimes. And it's interesting. There's moments where you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And it's interesting how it handles all those topics. So I thought that was like an interesting vibe, so to speak. It really gave me, don't quote me on this because like I played this game one time very long ago. It gives me like Life is Strange kind of vibes because, you know, you're making decisions that later on will have consequences and things like that. Love it and I hate it because like I hate making decisions. So yeah, it wasn't like a game that appeased me, so to speak, because yeah, I like happy games. I like things with happy endings, but it makes sense. It makes sense, like, and it's interesting. It's almost like a suspenseful mystery novel type of thing. Now, I will say some of the choices you make won't actually like have a consequence, so to speak, because like some choices, like there was this part in the game where he was like, oh, do you want to go into the cave? And I was like, no, I don't want to go into the cave. So I put no. And you couldn't go anywhere else. You had to go into the cave. So your answer had to be yes anyway. So I had to go back and like hit yes. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll go into this cave. But like, there is some choices that later on do have consequences. Like I was like, no, I don't want this fish, so set him free, right? And later on, you know, they talk about like, oh, if you had the fish, you could give it to this guy, or if you had the fish, you could do this, right? And I'm like, well, I don't have the fish, so oh well. There was one decision that I kind of regret because like there was this one question that was like, oh, do you want to pet the dog or do you want to free the dog? And I'm like, I want to play with him, right? Or pet him or whatever it was. And when you play with him, you throw a ball and you throw the ball and like it basically like kills him. And I'm like, what? It killed the dog and I was so sad about it. Okay. But you later reunite because you know you're both dead, so you go into death together. That's what happened, and I was sad about it. I'm still sad about it. Anyways, this game costs about $20, right? And is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe not. I got it for free because, you know, I share a Steam library with my friend and, you know, they had it. So, yeah. Convenience. We broke out here, just saying. Honestly, I find it very interesting. There's this catchphrase that Misfortune has. She says, yikes forever. And it was so cute, right? Overall, on my weird scale of 1 to 25, I give it an 18, which is like a 72%, which is good. It's passing, right? Like I said, I like games that make my heart feel nice and full. I like the appeal of this game and I like the story and the decisions. Will I play it again? Yes, because I want the alternate ending. And well, guys, that's my review for Little Misfortune. If you have other thoughts and opinions, please let me know. Share them in the comments. And if you have any games that you recommend playing, definitely let me know that too. I want to try as many games as possible. I am a girl who loved watching streamers and is just trying to play games myself now, just for fun. You're never too old to start playing games, just saying. Am I aging myself? Yes. Well, thank you for watching. You have a wonderful day and catch you in the next one. Bye.